I'm very excited actually to be at this panel, and I listened to the previous speakers. It's all very good and informative speeches. I'm going to talk about EB5 program, and the US is the country that attracts attention of probably the whole world right now this year, especially with our presidential election that hyped up the the all the media. I'm excited just because EB5 can be a lifetime decision for the investors and the family who want to move permanently to the United States. So it's a work for me for investors and with specific families on the personal level, and I can say that my job and what I'm doing is very fulfilling because I help to fulfill the American dreams of many families throughout the world, and I can see it happening. So I'm talking from the CMB office in Rock Island, Illinois, and this is almost 9 a.m. Central Time. And it's just the beginning of the light day, and I understand that in Europe and in Kiev it's almost dark hours already. So we are connected globally, and it's very exciting too. I'm going to talk about EB5 a little bit, what's coming in 2021. Those who are already looking at the possibility of obtaining the US permanent residency might find it useful, because I will be talking about what I think the EB5 timeline can be in 2021, and what kind of due diligence, what kind of questions you need to ask and look into during your preparations for the filing of the EB5 petition. So I represent the CMB Regional Centers company, and our company has two offices in the US, in Rock Island, Illinois, and Dallas, Texas. In fact, we are the biggest regional center in the United States. We have thousands of investors from more than 100 countries in the world, and we've been doing EB5 since 1997. And this is information about myself. I'm the director of investor relations in CMB Regional Centers, and I joined CMB in 2014. Actually, I'm an immigrant myself on a green card, and I arrived to the United States in 2013 from Ukraine, and I joined CMB at the time when EB5 as a program has exploded throughout the world. The popularity has grown on a multiple level in 2014 and 2015, and the popularity of EB5 program remains as such until now. And since 2014, I help literally hundreds of families, specifically, of course, from Eastern Europe, from Russia, because my native languages are Russian and Ukrainian, but I'm working globally with investors from Middle East, from Europe, from India, South America, and other regions in the world. So please take note of my contact details, and I will be happy to provide the individual consultations and answer any questions that you might have, and provide more information, in-depth information about EB5. And this presentation, I would like to keep simple, clear messages about EB5 and our current investment opportunity. So it's just a simple presentation that I will be going through. So 2000 is a very difficult year, of course. The coronavirus, and in EB5 there was the price increase in 2019. So in order to start the EB5 process, you need to have now have almost $1 million. And the entrance to the EB-5 program used to be $500,000. But still, there is the interest in the world, because many people are looking for the better lives for themselves and their children. Many businessmen are looking to grow their opportunity and build new companies and expand their businesses in the US. And the US is, of course, the biggest market. I can see the investors from Canada, from Australia and UK and New Zealand and Europe, Western Europe, who file their EB-5 petitions in order to obtain the US permanent residency. So what does the green card give? Unlike non-immigrant visas in the US that have been promoted heavily this year, as I can see, EB-5 remains the most straightforward solution to the visa status in the US, because this is a permanent visa. You don't have to extend it. Of course, you can apply for non-immigrant visas like E2, another investor visa, or L1, but I can see that those who have those type of visas in the US still apply for the EB-5 when they already in the US, because that's basically not only the permanent visa, it gives a lot of other benefits. Like you can live anywhere in the United States, and your kids can go to the college, and you can pay less, much less, for their tuition fees as the residents of a specific state. So I would say that it's almost US citizenship, US passport, with two differences. One, you cannot vote on the election with the green card, and number two, you cannot work for the government organizations. Otherwise, that's very close to the US citizenship. And if you want to have your passport, after 5 years of having the green card, you can apply for the US citizenship, and this is very straightforward process, by the way, but this is outside the outside of the EB-5 program, because the ultimate goal of the EB-5 program investor is to receive the green card for himself and qualified members of his family. Let's talk about what can happen in 2021. I see a lot of hopes with the new Biden administration, and lots of clients saying, "Oh, I was afraid of Mr. Trump because he didn't like the immigrants, and I know that Biden will improve the immigration system a lot in the United States." And that's true, actually, because I know that Biden wants to actually cancel a lot of Trump's executive orders that suspended certain types of non-immigrant visas this year. But let me tell you that we're talking about the EB-5, and investors in EB-5 are high net worth individuals who will not definitely be a burden to the US government and US budget and US taxpayers. Otherwise, on the contrary, they are creating jobs with their investment, and their investment go directly to a local economy, local economies that need those investment most. And they are good taxpayers. They will put their kids into college and buy real estate, which means more investment. So my opinion is, no matter what kind of administration is there, Democratic or Republican, the EB-5 program should be given, and has been given actually, the green light. Even under Trump this year, EB-5 program was exempt from the suspension, as some other kind of visas like H-1B, the work visa, or L1 entrepreneur visa. And I hope that it will continue to do so in 2021. And you know, other EB5 players, EB5 regional centers and immigration attorneys would just hope that realistically we can hope for the reduce reduction of the waiting time for the green card, because now when you apply for the green card, you have to wait probably 2 years until the USCIS, the Immigration Service, will process your petition. Very shortly about main parameters, what EB5 visa is. So it's an investment that requires you to invest $900,000 into the new commercial enterprise in the United States. And typically that would be a real estate project, which is under the construction right now. That's basically the most of EB5 offerings that you can meet on the EB5 market. Every year, U.S. government allocates 10,000 visas, 10,000 green cards for this program, and more people than could be allocated, visas could be allocated, applied for the EB5 visas in the last, I would say, 6 years. So the EB5 program is very popular, and another hope maybe that the US government, US Congress would consider increasing the allocation of the EB5 visas in the next years. It should be remembered that in order to receive the green card, your investment has to create 10 jobs. And this is basically the responsibility of a regional center, a company like us, to make sure that your investment creates jobs. So we rely on the so-called indirect jobs that are created through the capital spending during the construction of a specific project. And we've been successful in creating those jobs. We always provide for the considerable job buffer just to make sure that this part is secured and ensured, and there is no shortage of the job creation that could lead to the denial of the green card. Another very important aspect of the EB5 program is that your investment must be at risk. So you cannot just simply buy an apartment worth $900,000 and receive the green card. It doesn't work like that. So there is always the possibility of the loss of the investment, and that's how you can qualify for the EB5 visa. So our job as the company is to mitigate those risk components through different tools, through the collateral structure with the developer. And we try to minimize the risk and select the project, especially those who would fit for EB5 purposes, with the huge job creation, with the very high quality developer and the project, and developer with a big balance sheet that would we can clearly see that the developer would be able to secure the EB5 loan and service EB5 debt if the project goes wrong and there is not so many revenues as expected. And that's why on the preparation stage, it's very important for every investor to do the proper due diligence and ask as many questions as possible. My job as the manager in CMB to answer those questions, provide all the information to make your decision comfortable. Again, what are the goals of the EB5 investor? Is the receipt of the green card and the return of capital. Many clients, knowing that there is not so huge rate of return in EB5, are looking for the projects that would offer higher rate of return, and that's understandable, you know, because as an investor, naturally, he would not only want to receive the green card, but also have some profit. But you know, that's probably not the best way of doing this, even especially right now, because this is COVID era, And you have always asked questions like how the borrower, the developer, is going to accumulate revenues in order to pay this annual interest to the investors when he's only building the project and has no revenues, only the expenses. So this is like the legit questions that you need to ask. And in this year 2020 and 2021 probably as well, the best way of making sure and having peace of mind is select the safest project, the way you can clearly see how the revenues are going to be accumulated, and work with the regional center with the proven track record of success, that have repayment track record, that has the highest approval rate track records. That's the EB5 timeline that consists of several stages. Number one is the preparation for your decision, where you need to select the project and retain the immigration attorney. Then you can file your first petition, I-526 petition. I-526, remember, this is for the green card that is valid for 2 years. It's so-called conditional green card. And the rationale behind it is that US government wants you to, after 2 years of the conditional green card, to prove that you have created 10 jobs and show that your investment was truly at risk. So stage number 2 is waiting time for the processing of your first petition that will give you the way to the United States, actually. And this is the most important waiting time for all investors, especially those who are filed the initial petition living in their own country. Because remember, you can be in the United States on a non-immigrant visa, like H-1B or E-2, and you can apply for the EB-5 in order to receive the green card. So once the USCIS processes your petition, approves your petition, if you live in your home country, you will have the consular interview. And if you're in the United States, you will just simply file for the adjustment of status. So you can see that I indicated the approximate time that is takes in order to go through these stages. And once you have your consular interview or adjustment of status, you arrive to the United States as an immigrant, and thus begins your 2-year investment green card period. After 2 years, you need to file the second petition to remove conditions from your green card and make it permanent. So this is a petition that is called I-829, and when it is approved, that's the successful end of your EB-5 immigration process. So you can see that it takes years. And to put it simply, if you decide to file your petition today, you can expect that USCIS, the US Immigration Service, will look at your and process your petition probably at the second part of 2022. And I mentioned already that we all hope that the USCIS will do their job and reduce this waiting time. They have been putting different the processing times on their immigration website. And probably we will see that the processing time will be less than 2 years, maybe about 1 year, maybe a little bit more. Let's see. We can see that this is the USCIS goal to do that. So there is the EB-5 immigration timeline, but there is also investment timeline, because you invest in order to file your petition. And with CMB, the investment period is taking usually 6 years or less. We give the option to our developers, if they accumulate the revenues in order to repay the EB-5 loan before 6 years, they can do that, but no sooner than 3.5 years, because we want these 3.5 years, all of our investors to go through certain stages of the immigration process and become eligible for the repayment. CMB, this is the company that was established in 2000 in 1997, and it represents a lot of people from many different parts of the world, by the way, and many of us are actual immigrants just like me. And the founder of CMB is Mr. Pat Hogan, one of the most respectable figures in the EB5 industry, with many years of experience. And he's not only has built and developed this biggest regional center, CMB, in the US, he is also the owner of the world's largest antique firearm auctions here in the United States and Rock Island, Illinois. And this another company, another business of Mr. Hogan, does 4 premier auctions, that raises millions of dollars every time. And this is our track record, which is very important for potential EB5 investors. You can see that we have more than 5,000 EB5 investors, and already we have 1,600 people who have been repaid in full through multiple of EB5 partnerships. And by the way, I had a privilege to speak at the Bosco Conference in the last, months in October and November. So last time this number 1,600, it was 1,500, but we keep repaying our investors in 2020. So this statistic grows, as well as the statistics of the approvals for our investors in the first petition, I-829, I-526. It's almost 5,000 now. Maybe in January, when I will have an opportunity to speak at the Bosco Conference again, this number will be 5,000. And 1,500 plus those people who received the permanent green cards. Our partnership structure usually never change. We have done more than 70 partnerships by now, and it's always the partnership between the general partner, CMB, and the pool of investors. So it's the CMB limited partnership that provides a loan to the developer, and the developer signs the loan agreement with CMB partnership, and it is obligated to repay in full in 6 years. So when it happens, the exit strategy for our investors is very simple. They have to vote for the withdrawal from the partnership and the return of their capital on the individual bank accounts. So once we reach the level of 50% of the votes, we can actually trigger the process of returning the capital to our partners. And so it's very clear. I know other regional centers are offering equity investments, but we would like to stick to the loan investment structure, just because the exit strategy is very simple. There's nothing to sell, and it's a simple loan with the rate of return about 0.8% paid annually. To prove the statistics, we have been doing the audits with the third-party company in the US, so we can prove our statistics of approvals and partnership financials. What we have now as the current offering is the construction of the logistics center in the state of Michigan near the Detroit airport. And the developer is the company Hillwood, which is one of the biggest US developers in the US. And we're raising more than $26 million for the construction of this project. This project is fully entitled by now. The construction has started. And we are raising these EB5 funds, which means the pool of the investors will be 29 people. We have the subscription process that goes very dynamically right now. Even in the COVID times, there are people who are doing their due diligence and want to, proceed and, move to the United States. with the long-term plans. Hillwood has a huge experience in building logistics centers like this across the United States. Another aspect of their activity is the construction of the residential real estate under the residential, general plan residential developments. But we have done a lot of logistic projects with Hillwood already. It's our 30th EB5 partnership. And it's a big achievement because those who are studying the EB5 program knows that there are not so many regional centers at all in the United States with a track record of total 30 partnerships, but we have 30 partnerships with only this specific developer, which has been showing the exceptional performance in terms of the completing the projects and returning the EB5 loans in multiple partnerships. That's basically our track record with Hillwood. So far, we have 31. We have our latest project, also the group 78 with Hillwood. It's another logistic project. And we have 14 partnerships that have been repaid, 14 Hillwood partnerships. And this is some information with very important information about this logistic project. Recently, the large US company from the Fortune 500 list, it actually one of the largest e-commerce retailers, signed a long-term lease agreement with Hillwood on the lease of this facility, which ensures that Hillwood will get the revenue in order to repay the senior construction loan as well the EB5 loan in time. And the completion of the project with the total job creation is going to take place in 2021. So logistic facilities are being built very quickly, actually. This is the geography of the project. They said that Detroit is like the access point to the United States, to Canada, to US Midwest, and the location of the project is very beneficial because it's near the Detroit International Airport and also close to the connection to the major roads. That's the more detailed parameters of the project. So there is the collateral, there is the terms of investment, 6 years. The total development cost in this is more than $86 million. And the capital stack consists of the senior loan, the EB5 loan, and the developer's equity itself. And the job creation, you can see that there is the substantial job creation buffer for the peace of mind of the investors. Most importantly is that if there is the concern of the potential investor, whether CMB would be able to fully raise this $26 million. And that's a legit question, by the way, because the EB5 market has shrinked tremendously in comparison with 2019. And I can, talk about the statistics of EB5 filings this year, which is just a fraction of what we used to have in 2019. And that's because of the COVID primarily, and of course the EB5 price increase. So if the client has the question like this, we can show that there is the full funding available for the construction of this project because of the additional equity from the developer, from Hillwood, that he has thrown in lieu of the EB5 funding. And as we proceed with the subscription, these EB5 funds are replacing actually this additional funding of Hillwood. But let me tell you that we never had a situation where we were not being able to fully subscribe in our history, because people know that CMB is an experienced regional center, and we have very conservative approach to our EB5 offerings. Few words about the sister company of CMB, NHK, and it was created 2 years ago because a lot of clients have been repaid, and they were very happy with the cooperation in our customer service, so that they were asking for the CMB's advice where to invest next. So that's why, and you know, at the end of the day, this NHK, a sister company, was created that offers non-EB5 investment opportunities, and that can be interested for those who are not after the green card, but who wants to receive the profit from the investment. So this, very shortly, this is the project in Dallas, the construction of the JW Marriott hotel in the downtown Dallas. And this is the rendering of the project. The construction has just started, and it will finish in the end of 2022. Hopefully the COVID will be over by that time, and you know, the hotel industry will return to normal. That's the parameters of the hotel, but I would like to just show the capital stack that consists of the CMG equity, developer equity, NHK equity. We are raising $10 million for the construction of this project. The senior loan, the base loan, is the tax return, basically money that are used in this project. And there is also the mezzanine loan. The investors who would be interested in this project could expect that the annual distributions will be no less than 10% paid annually. And the target equity multiple is 2x, which means that if you invest, for example, $100,000, which is the minimal investment price, at the exit from the investment, your investment will double. So that's very shortly about this project, and I will be happy to answer any questions from the audience, and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Vitaly. That's a very good timing. We were actually worried if we managed to squeeze in all the useful information in this very short slot, and you've managed it perfectly. So thank you very much. I have a few questions that seem to have been asked before you started your presentation, because to me personally, it seems like you've covered most of what they pertain to. Now, still, let me share them with you. Should I invest directly or through an EB5 regional center? And I'll add one more. How much does an investor have to invest that's probably the end of the question. How much does they need to invest? So perhaps you can just briefly summarize what you said before.
Yes, of course. Thank you for those questions. Second question is simple. The minimal fixed investment price is $900,000. If the project is located in the so-called target employment area, or high unemployment area, and basically what you can find on the EB5 market through regional centers, that would be the projects requiring $900,000. So the question about whether I should do EB5 directly or through regional centers, that really depends on your level of comfort. Because if you're in the United States and you know how to do business here, of course, if you want to manage your own business that would qualify for EB5, you can do that. But this statistically, we can see that only 3% of the people who file for EB5 petition, they do it directly through opening their own business and creating their own business plans. 97% choose to go through the regional centers just because this is a more convenient way of doing this. It's a passive investment from the investor standpoint. So you park your money, deposit your money for several years, and you can do your own business while your immigration process is progressing.